was created to bring to the forefront, especially for the Black child, that we are afforded opportunities to package ourselves. And that's what I love doing.
And you're well packaged, yeah? Like, I'm always talking to you about this. We're just talking of like, you're well packaged. You are managing a lot of things. I mean, just the introduction is a lot, right? How are you actually... Yeah, how do you package that brand mom, your mom, 2 under 2? I used to like laugh at you. One is enough. I don't know.
One is enough. Yeah.
How do you... Michelle Obama, I was watching an interview of hers with Oprah, and the common question she asks, or gets asked is, can a woman have it all? And Michelle said yes, but not all at once. What is your view?
Sure, my view is God. I was so worried about how am I juggling everything, and I left me behind. I wasn't able to stand in me. You can't stand in yourself when you don't know who you are. So a lot of me has been muted. When we can't resolve something, when we can't find a happy medium, when we can't hear each other, we get help.
A lot of us didn't get relationship tools because their relationships needed particular tools. Hello, Dumelang. Welcome to yet another episode with your host, Dr. Modie. Welcome to Blooming But I Fly. Thank you so much for all the comments, the engagement, the feedback. Like I say every episode, ke hola ka lona. Thank you for subscribing. You guys who just keep viewing, and I know you like the episodes, you're learning a lot from our guests, but you're not subscribing, press the button. Okay. Today's guest is one of my personal favorites. Not that the others aren't, but she's dear to my heart because the lady you see today, a little bit of me, she's responsible for.
A tiny bit.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for taking the time. Today, guys, we have Mrs. Modie Rachidi. Hey,
it gets me all the time.
What do you mean?
I've been married for 5 years. And yeah.
And why does
and
it
every
surprise
time
you?
I'm supposed to say Mrs., I'm like, who?
Hey, we must put some respect. And a very gorgeous woman who came today. Hababona, they must know her hela. Honale Mr. Rachidi mule ka mo morao. Hey, okay. Yes. Thank you so much for your time.
It's a pleasure.
So, let me just put some respect on your name. Modie is a disciple. She's a wife. She's a mom. She's a strategic marketing professional. She's an account director. If there's a campaign you see, she's probably directed it. She's branded it. She's done something on it. Okay. She's a founder of Fit First for Ladies, which we'll get into what that is. And she's a co-host of the Working Mom podcast. And she is my personal gym trainer. You can't see it under here, but can I do six-pack?
She does.
The abs. And I have you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Okay. So let me not be excited. Every time I have somebody that's my personal favorite, my energy goes up. Modie, for 5 marks, short essay. Who are you? Who do you want us to come to know you as? Otswakai. Just a short introduction.
Sure. I always get so nervous when people ask me to introduce myself. Modie is a Pretoria born and bred girlie, believe it or not. I come from a family of 3 girls. So you can imagine my shock when I had to get married and I was like, oh, there's a boy in the house. Yeah, so I'm from Pretoria, but I've always had a love for anything beyond my eyes, like what my eye can see. So that's why I left Pretoria quite early and I came to Joburg. I am a brand builder at heart. I am a mother. Modie Rachidi. I think I am also, you describe me well when you say a disciple. I also believe that I'm used in so many ways and in so many spaces. I take on a lot, but I trust God for that.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think I am a work in progress. I'm a whip. In marketing terms, they call it a whip.
And this is why you're here, because we don't want a finished product. It's not that we don't want one, but nobody's a finished product.
Yeah.
Just by virtue of me liking the word blooming, I think we're forever evolving. I think depending on what we're talking about, there'll be phases where you're already the butterfly.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you're the caterpillar. Sometimes you don't even know you're in the cocoon somewhere, right? So I think part of me approaching you is me admiring the different journeys that you've, given me the privilege to experience in different ways. I love my age mates. I love my age mates.
We are blooming.
We are blooming. We are learning from each other.
Yeah,
And I think today I want to just learn from you further. And I want to share some of the learnings I've experienced. Right?
What a privilege.
Yeah, you're a whole brand.
On the way here, actually, I have secret sisters that I keep on the side. And
Why are
she
they
said to me,
secret?
because a lot of them don't want to be known.
Okay.
They're quite influential.
Okay.
So I was on the line with one of them, and then she says, "Remember, you're a brand." I'm like, "Ooh, I'm just a girl." But I guess I was created to bring to the forefront, especially for the Black child, that we are afforded opportunities to package ourselves. And that's what I love doing.
And you're well packaged, yeah? Like, I'm always talking to you about this. We're just talking of like,
Yeah.
you're well packaged. You are managing a lot of things. I mean, just the introduction is a lot, right? How are you actually... Yeah, how do you package that brand mom, your mom, 2 under 2? I used to like laugh at you. One is enough. I don't know.
More than enough. Yeah.
How do you... Michelle Obama, was watching an interview of hers with Oprah, and the common question she asks, or gets asked is, can a woman have it all? And Michelle said yes, but not all at once. What is your view?
Sure. My view is God.
Okay.
It's taken me like this full week to try and, because I'm a packager, a brander, a positioner by nature, decide how I'm going to package my interview, our conversation. But to be honest, I manage because of God. I'm very keen to know and to explore his version of me. So in every area, I know there's a reason why for whatever challenge or whatever victory that happens. So that's how I navigate. And I think the part of the foundations of who I am come from a story that, thank you, Rachidi, for saying this to me. He said, you need to rewrite your story. Because I always ran off the narrative, I was heartbroken, and that's why I ended up here. And the reality is, no, God was writing the story. He was scripting.
Sorry, for my own understanding, you were heartbroken, and that's where you ended up successful.
Yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately. So I met him and he said to me, you need to rewrite the story. You need to retell.
You need to
Recredit. And he said to me, you need to reposition where you come from about you. He's a very smart man. I'm married to a very smart man. So I think I took from that and I decided, okay, so what does that mean in the various areas of my life? And as a result, I've been able to then put everything into its little drawer. And the drawers open and close as and when I can manage, depending on the season. So when I say God, I'm referring to understanding season and reason. That's what I mean, yeah.
What season are you in now?
I'm in motion. I'm in transit. I don't know if that's a season.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of moving parts. So we were talking about it offline to say, how do I do everything? And I'm like, there are so many things that are happening at the same time. This morning alone, I stood in the kitchen and I looked at the lady that helps me, our auntie, and I said, I feel so overwhelmed. But I know there's a reason why. And I looked at Zoe and I said to Zoe's my daughter, and I said to her, we were given certain responsibilities because God knows what the story is about us. And don't you forget that. That's what I said to her, because at the time, one of our family members was texting me So I knew that he needed something from me. But at the same time, I'm standing there, I'm, directing the team to say, how do we move here and there? But at the same time, I need to remember what's for dinner. And I just come from, so that's why I spend a lot of my time where in the mornings, I afford myself the mornings because I know the rest of the day.
4:30, by the way. I just...
Yeah.
I just need to give that context to everybody.
4:30.
And Ustaras. Yo.
Yeah, it's I think the 5 a.m. club book changed my life.
Okay.
Yeah, because I realized that I was so worried about how am I juggling everything, and I left me behind. And the principles and the foundations of it say, start with self.
Do you think you left yourself behind after becoming a mom, or even the version before motherhood didn't didn't know how to include herself?
I can't blame my children.
It's not blaming. Let me maybe explain my reasoning for question. A lot of my clients who are moms, some of them, we identify that pattern of being was before motherhood.
Established.
They did not know
Yes.
how to take care of themselves, include themselves. They were siblings, they were colleagues, they were bosses, right? But even in those spheres, they were always left behind. And then motherhood intensified that inability, made it worse. And then some of them, it happened because of motherhood, right? Where you start to see the self-sacrificial side, where the mom guilt kicks in, where our gender roles kick in. And I think it's important to know which one we fall in, because the one who used to know how to take care of themselves, right? You're not starting from scratch.
Yeah.
You just need to remember what used to work, integrate what will work now, right? The one that didn't know to begin with, that's a different type of work.
Sure.
And women, I think women in general, I come across it a lot. I think we don't know how to take care of ourselves. We're very good at taking care of everybody else, whether you're a mom or not.
That's true. So I fall in the former.
Okay.
When I think back, a lot of what the characteristics are that make who I am up, for one, my name, I'm very soft-spoken, my demeanor, my approach to things. I think I started life from a back foot because so many of the things that make who I am up were not necessarily normal.
What do you mean?
So imagine being Modie in grade 1. And
Modie Imina.
Daddy, I love you. But wow. Wow. So Modie, the foundations of my name actually mean the one that preserves culture. So the one that takes everything that stems from who we're meant to be and carries it through. So if you
Actually then literally lived that.
Yes. And I didn't know
Sure.
that I had to live that until I asked my father, what does my name mean?
Okay.
Until I then went to my Heavenly Father and said, how do I interpret this in action in my life? And I was going to say to you that it's the former because I wasn't able to stand in me. You can't stand in yourself when you don't know who you are. So a lot of me has been muted. And as a result, I then don't know how to tend or attend to myself.
Okay.
And then motherhood came along.
Okay.
Actually, no, relationships, then motherhood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're in a season of learning
I am.
how to include yourself.
I am.
Okay. And I love that for you because also you have just now co-founded a podcast. So when you say my voice was muted,
Yeah.
I think if I interpret that correctly, it's one of the ways that your voice is now, the volume is turned
Turning
on.
up.
Okay.
Yeah. I believe I sit with a lot of wisdom purely because in my quiet time I hear a lot. Be it from Holy Spirit, be it from intuition, be it from, and this one is a bit of a controversial one because I'm Christian and I'm married into a traditional family.
Talk me through that. You have before, and we've had a discussion, but talk me through that.
and being exposed to a religious world for the longest time and Christian principles and ways of being versus then walking into a world where there's ancestral acknowledgement that needs to happen. And that has then created the foundations of the person that I love. It also has contributed to the type of elders he has, and living and non-living. And I'm privileged enough to have met a lot of the ones that are living, obviously, even those that have then since passed. They were very smart in how they approached me because I was not necessarily, I didn't understand their world, but every time a word came from the traditional side, it led me back to the Bible.
Okay.
So that's how I knew I could give it a nod, I could give it a yes.
Okay. So it wasn't conflicting in your values. No. You are able to connect the two. It doesn't feel like you're betraying your ways of being.
A lot of what comes back when he would engage with his family traditionally in that sense was the prayer. They would take me back to, the foundations of, okay, so your grandparents, what happened there? And some of it, in actual fact, funny enough, my grandmother, my mother's mother, the woman I'm named after, she's a staunch Christian, but she's a traditional healer. So my second name is Nini. So Nini, which is my grandmother, she was one of the people I had to go back to and find certain things out from. So she's still alive.
Okay.
And even when I had my first child, the conversation was, this is how we need to guard and protect you. So when I fell pregnant, everybody had their guard around me, prayer-wise.
Okay.
But she had to, ka setso wa tlhapisiwa. So she literally prayed over water and she would rub my back and my belly and pray over me. So there wasn't necessarily a conflict.
Okay.
And that's where I learned how everything directs me back to God. So I don't not acknowledge that side, but I do thoroughly enjoy that it sends me back to the foundations of what makes me up.
So in your household, your children would then, are they free to follow whichever path? Because I suppose there'd be a school of thought that views them differently, right? Some view them integrated. There's an argument for they separate. There's all sorts of debates, right? And I don't think today's about the debates versus, and your bringing up of those two children, recognizing that your husband grew up differently. Which path do they then follow?
We've agreed to exposing them to Christianity.
Okay.
And I'd call it integrated because when there are family things that have to be done, they are included.
On his side?
On his side.
Okay.
Purely because I don't want to raise aloof children. I want them to know and understand that side exists because they are made up of their mother and their father. But we collectively were like, okay, they're Christian. That's why both of them are baptized.
What it feels like it feels like it was seamless. Sometimes, because sometimes when I speak to people in similar situations, it tends to be very conflictual.
Yeah.
The families don't hear each other, the spouses don't hear each other, the kids are in the middle. And that's why I was asking, so which path are the kids open to following? Is there an option, or has there been, and the way you're speaking about it, regardless of the fact that this is your demeanor, you're calm,
I'm put together.
You're put together.
Yeah.
But just your tone, your energy tells me, like, it feels like you were very calm and surrendered about it. I don't know.
Look, there have been many conversations that had to happen for us to find a common ground.
Is this during dating?
No.
Oh.
Fun fact, there's a lot that they don't tell you when you're dating.
When do we find out?
So when you are on the other side.
Oh, they get you on the other side
on the other
first.
side. But I had a suspicion. So I kind of could tell because, you know, you don't commemorate Christmas. You don't understand Easter. Yeah, so it's a bit of a,
Gape le kopane ka Joburg.
funny story, right?
Because we can meet each other here, and then this is
Yeah.
how you get me to the other side, and then I find out,
I would have never been able to tell you that he's from Limpopo
okay.
because I met him in Bryanston.
Gabon?
And and now he's you know.
Okay.
And we had been in a relationship for like 3 to 6 months when eventually one day on a phone call I hear him say Bomma.
Halala.
I'm like, this is the same girl that was laughing at the concept of mumma. I digress though, but we found a happy medium because I consistently have to go back to what's the story kanna. That's the biggest thing that's happening to me. That's why I'm saying, Hore, I'm in a learning phase.
Sorry, and you phrased it as your name is a builder of cultures.
It's the one that carries the culture.
Okay.
So the foundations of who and what we are meant to be and do, I carry that through generations.
Now link that to marrying the husband that you've married, into the family that you're marrying into as a Christian woman. What does that, what have you come to hear God say is your portion?
He has said a lot, but most importantly, he has said it's a huge task that you've taken on. And sometimes even in the little fights, I have to remind myself of that because I forget that our union is beyond love. And my mother once said to me, you need to understand that when you get married, you have a purpose. You're not there for love. What are you there to do? And I remember saying to her, I think I'm the glue.
Okay.
Because there are, like let's use corporate as an example. People live in and operate in silos, but we are all headed towards the same mission. And I've gone in and I've picked up certain things and I'm like, you know what? I might not necessarily be able to, at this point, financially contribute to an extent that I want to. But if there's platforms I can create for everybody to come together, that's what I'm going to do. And as a result, it's also impacted how I raise my children because they are exposed to their father's side of the family. So they know who's who and they need to be very respectful of where they come from. And even Hariagai, like Ahunabo.
Brainstem.
Yeah.
And I've seen like they participate there.
In everything.
Yeah. They are there.
They're
Babo
there.
Limpopo.
They're present. And even Lin Nahagyagai, like
Yes.
the her.
The her's there, but so is the duke.
So is the duke.
And so is
But I go
Hobova.
as far as I take it off. I'm like, hi, babe, here's the hair. And I wear my duke and I go mingle with my sisters-in-law. Strategically, though. So
Because
I have
I'm
a trick. During the year,
Teach us.
you must keep the relationship fresh.
Okay.
Then, when you go there, right, you're a facilitator.
Okay.
So I'm the conductor. I'm walking around. Hi guys, how are the onions doing?
Right.
How are the potatoes
Right.
doing? Yes.
And that is the goal, I feel.
And I keep feeding everybody beverages and I bring the
refill.
snacks.
Okay.
Yeah.
You observe what's
And I observe.
needed.
But I've also identified things that make my mother-in-law look good.
Okay.
And I attend to those.
Okay.
Because I need to acknowledge that she's still living in that space and her reputation is something that we need to cover and protect. So I also, like, Manina Iragen.
Right.
That's my pot. The
Okay.
family knows.
Okay.
And they'll always enjoy it.
Okay.
So, that's how I...
I'm hearing a lot thematically. I'm hearing marriage is a lot of humility and a lot of, I don't like the word sacrifice, but I think
Dying to self.
dying to self, okay. And then you said union is not about love. So teach us who are not married. What is marriage about according to you?
in my context, because I can't speak on behalf of other people, right? I am placed in the marriage to afford myself and him the opportunity to be what we're meant to be.
Okay.
I know it sounds a bit high level in marketing terms and conceptual, but when I met him, I said, you're going to be sitting in a corner office. It's huge. I could see it. You'll have a PA. And the PA will be running your diary and hours, and he will be telling us when the kids have their sports day, swimming gala, all those things. And I will have a gym studio, and it will have a separate entrance, Guntlung, and we will then be navigating life differently. I said to him, life has a texture and a fabric to it. And I can see that you understand that. You may not have the individual, like the ingredients that make it up as yet, but conceptually, I can see that you have that. So the purpose of us being married is for us to reach our highest selves. And in the marriage, we enable one another to get there. Okay. So that's why even in the seasons, when it's my time to accelerate, he pauses a bit. Okay. And then when it's his turn, I pause a bit. Okay. And sometimes it's wild because it's accelerating at the same time. And in that season, we've learned to get help.
I was just about to ask about that because I think just from clinical observation, personal experience, people around me, relationships, different things can happen in those seasons. If something can happen when one is accelerating and one doesn't want to pause. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And something can also happen when we're both accelerating. Yeah. So you're saying that in that season you guys got support.
Intervention.
Okay, what does that look like?
Excuse me, when we can't resolve something, when we can't find a happy medium, when we can't hear each other, we get help. Sometimes it goes as far as, all right, we're picking up the phone and we're saying, listen, we are coming home. We are not agreeing on this particular thing. We go to the elders. Okay. We also participate in group counseling where there's other couples. Okay. Yes. So there you get about that. It's fun actually. You build a community and you get to know other married couples, or those that are on their way to getting married, engaged couples, committed couples.
Is this like therapeutically? You meet new people you didn't know and you...
It's a group counseling. It's almost like a platform forum that we go to. It happens, I think, every 3 months or so in the year. So we've built a community of that sort that we were exposed to from our premarital counseling. Okay. And in those sessions, we're able to then, learn and engage with other people and get a different point of view around issues that you maybe didn't realize, or hey, other people are experiencing this as well. So
the Dream Stream studio in Randburg is a full-service studio on Bromfisher Drive. It's perfectly suited for podcast, music recordings, and general video recordings. Backed up by an experienced editing and production team means you can walk in, record, and walk out knowing that everything will get done as you require. Our mobile gear ensures we can cover your video and live streaming needs on location too. We got the cameras, the lights, and the action to make you and your brand shine. Contact us now, studio@dreamstream.co.za, and we'll make it happen. Dreamstream, a place to create yourself.
Yeah, there's a lot of points where we get the help and we're deliberate about putting our hand up and saying,
we need help.
We need help.
I like that. I like that because I think our generation, without criticizing our parents and being disrespectful, humbly and respectfully, a lot of us didn't get relationship tools because their relationships needed particular tools, right? And I hold empathy and respect for them. They did the best that they could. However, I think where you see a lot of breakups happening, a lot of us are from single-headed households.
Yeah.
On a different episode, I was saying I was raised by a single mom. So the hyper masculinity, hyper independence, that strong voice that I know I can have, right? And I'm a recovering hyper independent
We're all in
woman,
therapy.
right? The therapist
Yeah.
is in therapy. But my mom could only teach me so much. There's an element that I would have to have observed and experienced a healthy marriage. I didn't get that, right? I know how to survive. I know how to be happy as an independent woman. I know how to thrive. And there's a lot of lessons she's given me that are positive. But by virtue of not being married herself, we do have to admit that there are certain tools I need to get somewhere else. So, and I don't see a lot of our generation accessing these tools easily. I see us accessing them too late.
When there's almost like it's that emergency
Yeah,
level.
it's like at crisis level,
yeah,
right? And
yeah.
in my work, I often say, I'm for when you're dating. You don't have to have like 6 months of therapy, and it doesn't have to be so mechanical that now you're not organically getting to know each other. But I think a lot of intervention, whether it's a group setting, whether it's 2 sessions of couples therapy or whatever, I think fewer people would marry wrong. I think fewer marriages would go through certain things that didn't have to happen at that intensity, even if they were going to happen. Because there's no such thing as perfect, right? I think our communication would look different. I think the individuals in that union, the wounding would look different. It doesn't have to. Because sometimes I feel like we wound the very person that we love in a more intensified level that we didn't have to. And it's not our fault because we didn't have the tools. But our generation, I mean, very few people are doing the things that you're talking. They are, but at crisis. By the time people walk into my office, we are unpacking.
Yeah.
And we are unpacking. And you must remember now, I'm dealing with Modie before Rachidi.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with that. Then I'm dealing with Rachidi. And then there was before Rachidi, before Modie, you know what I mean? So the wounding is like, yeah. Anyway, that was a long-winded way of saying I agree. I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah,
I think there's value.
I think to our generation's defense, the reality is that's why I keep saying the union is not about love. We go in, yes, love it unlocks it, but purpose keeps it going, right? And in the purpose, you cannot establish the joint purpose without the individual purpose.
Right.
And then I'll go one step back and say you can't establish your purpose if you're not deliberate about understanding your individual level of awareness.
Right.
So, and being self-aware doesn't mean you have the answers.
No.
It just means you know. Like everything comes to your conscious, like it's just there. Like I said to someone, I actually realized that I don't know how to introduce myself.
There you go.
and that's an indication, yeah. Oh, there's a certain level of self-awareness in that space. I actually realized that when I sit in the right rooms, sometimes I do well, sometimes I don't.
Okay.
But I know the contributing factors that determine when I do well.
When do you do well? I want you to do well in this room.
I do well when I remember who and whose I am.
Okay.
I do well when I'm settled in myself. Because as well packaged as I am, I mean, what's happening inside, you know? Am I calm? There's a colleague of mine that I've come to deeply respect who said to me the other day, I don't respond to fear. And it sat with me, like till today, I'm like, but what am I doing with this fear thing?
Okay.
How is it existing in my life? Because it seems to be a golden thread, you know, in the tiny things that I do.
What does that mean, you don't respond to fear?
I shouldn't navigate from that place because I've seen how dangerous it is.
Okay.
You're reactive.
You previously used to?
I'm working through moving away from that.
Okay. I suppose that's where healing comes in, isn't it? Where you I think fear is a wounding or woundings, right? And then because you're a spiritual woman, God did not give you a spirit of fear. And so there's that healing. Okay.
But Sarah Jakes said the other day, you can't use the word if you don't know the word.
Say more.
He hasn't given me a spirit of fear. But if I don't go and interrogate and read the word, I won't know that he hasn't. Because I can't reference scripture. We think we have to read scripture so that we can then recite it when, things are needing to sound very highly spiritual. No, it's for your day-to-day use, And that's when I realized that, okay, I actually need to do the job of going and reading all the scriptures that speak to fear and understanding what he says about fear. Instead of trying to self-manage.
What is your go-to scripture?
Around
that topic?
Around fear.
Because I think it's a human response, right? Like we will be fearful, we will feel scared, life will happen, we will be challenged. And so then how do you ground yourself? How do you bring yourself back? What is that one word?
I don't think I clearly remember from which book, but scripture, but I know for a fact that my life turned around when I referenced 1 Corinthians 2 verse 9. Yes.
And it speaks about fear.
No, it doesn't speak about fear.
Okay, it speaks
about the unknown. It speaks about what's coming.
Okay.
I think it says, no eye has seen, no ear has heard.
Okay.
And I just need to make sure that I remember it's 1 Corinthians 2 verse 9. I'll cross-check. Yes. Okay. Because at the time, I remember I was leaving the corporate world, going back to agency. And I had been in such a turmoil internally because I worked in the Miss South Africa office for like 5 years. And it's a lot. It's a lot because, it's beauty. It's how things look from the outside. But the depth of it was, how we were building women into these beautiful, flowers because they went ultimately to go represent the country. How they became like beautiful human beings on the other side. For me, there was purpose in that. But there's always that BTS and scarring that came from there. And I remember having to rip myself from that world, and I completely deleted everything of that part of my life. And when I went into the agency world, because my salary doubled, because I finally could afford a car, because things changed. In the 1 year, I had bought a car, an apartment, all of these things. And I referenced that scripture to be like, sure, no one actually saw it coming. Even I didn't see it coming. And that's why it's the one scripture that I just can't let go of.
Very bad. Another part of you that I think grounds you is fitness.
Sure.
Now you launched a fitness brand in the peak of COVID. In your apartment.
Yes. How do you know that?
It's my job to know.
Yes,
in
actually.
your apartment, videos from your phone, right? Tell me about that. What was happening? I think a lot was happening for us during COVID, but for you, how do we get there?
I think at the time I had just moved into my brand new apartment.
Okay.
Guys. I can vividly, I remember the smell. I had saved up enough to buy a couch, everything all at the same time.
Yeah.
And I was working at an agency, and at the time they said, no, you guys need to work from home. But fitness had come just before the COVID time because I kind of mentioned that heartbreak
Yes.
caused a lot of things for me. It's no longer my story, but
Yes.
it's part of the fitness story.
Part of the journey.
And at the time, I felt like I was so sore, kamogare. Internally, I couldn't feel my body anymore. That's how heartbroken I was. And then I looked for avenues to feel again.
Yeah.
And I remember a colleague of mine saying, let's go to the gym. And I'm like, okay, let's go. Because I'd always wanted to be bigger, actually. So I was a size 26, 28. And I wanted to be a 32. Because at the time, like being more curvy was a thing.
Kobapotso is not always the brand sometimes.
So then I decided to join the gym. And I remember the first time I ever did a squat, I fell. But I was privileged because we were training, my lady friend and I were training with guys. And they were trying to help us get stronger. So that's when I started learning actually the correct form, the core. Believe it or not, gents wear the belt.
Okay.
For their back, for protecting their back.
Yes.
So I learned all of that at the time. And then COVID hit. And I couldn't go to the gym anymore because now we're at home. And now I'm single. I'm in this apartment by myself. But I thoroughly enjoy the feeling that comes with training. So then I decided, what if I were to train with everything that's in the house? What would happen? And funny enough, a friend of mine who came from my Miss South Africa world said to me, listen, a group of friends and I want to actually learn how to gym because you literally are a gym human being. Can you take on classes for us? When I say that I was freaked out, you know your body parts, right? I couldn't, I would say a leg is a foot and an arm is a because in the sessions because I was just so overwhelmed. And at the time they were like a group of very popular ladies, and I think as they started resharing the content, word spread that there's this lady who's doing virtual classes during COVID time. And that's when I decided, let me actually register.
The Dream Stream studio in Randburg is a full-service studio on Bromfisher Drive. It's perfectly suited for podcast, music recordings, and general video recordings. Backed up by an experienced editing and production team means you can walk in, record, and walk out knowing that everything will get done as you require. Our mobile gear ensures we can cover your video and live streaming needs on location too. We got the cameras, the lights, and the action to make you and your brand shine. Contact us now, studio@dreamstream.co.za, and we'll make it happen. Dreamstream, a place to create yourself.
A company name. So it's called Fit First Ladies. And it also has the foundations come from my spiritual side.
Okay.
So if you're fit first as a lady, everything will follow.
Okay.
Yes. So, and it speaks about belief, discipline. I think there's also a faith element to it. But essentially, a combination of what you would get from the 5 a.m. club is what I was packaging in the fitness form.
So you've been teaching me these elements without telling me that they are the foundation and the value of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess it's a classic case of how do I package? We spoke about putting your brand together. How do I package that so that people can better understand it?
Because there's been times where, I'm like, I can't do it. I can't. And life is lifing. And all my hats are falling apart. And I remember there was one time where you said, I don't have anything to say, just pray. But I'll see you tomorrow. Right?
Yeah.
And I suppose it was be fit in this area as well.
Yes. And that's essentially it.
You get what I mean?
That's as
and your
simple as
body will
that.
follow.
So that's why I don't, unless it's a very tough season, I don't compromise on that part of my day. Okay. Because it allows and affords me the rest of me. So in the morning, if I miss gym, my husband will tell you, you haven't been to the gym in 3 days. Something's wrong. Because then I start snapping. I'm impatient. Everything is overwhelming. I take in a lot. So it's a way of saying, set aside the time first for yourself as a lady, and then everything else will follow. And it's also, because it's a set time, I can't run away from God.
Right.
I can't say I'll pray at 12.
Right.
No, I know. Between 5 and 7 o'clock in the morning.
It's happening.
It's happening. And
he also knows that appointment.
he knows it.
So it's not that he ever leaves you, but he meets you for that particular appointment because you guys have an appointment. Okay.
And it's evolved over time. So the 5 to 7 time has changed as I have changed. So in my singlehood, it was just me and God, and almost me trying to find a rhythm around who I am. Then I found a partner, and it was like, okay, me, God, partner. How do I integrate him into this thing? And funny enough, I met him in 2019. So when I started the company and I built a brand, he was part of it. He was the guy that was collecting the T-shirts. He was in there, you know. And I also then integrated him into that system. And then we evolved, and I went into now motherhood.
Okay.
And that's now how the brand has now started servicing moms and, you know, helping them heal their core.
I wanted to get into that.
Yes.
Your passion for working with women, particularly moms. Did that come from being a mom yourself, or did you have that passion even before, just witnessing and observing our struggles?
Fun fact, I didn't think I would be a mom.
Okay.
One, because my ambitions were so far from that ideal white picket fence and husband. And I had concluded that what I am going to do is establish myself and be wealthy.
Okay.
Wealth was the North Star. And I was going to be the rich aunt.
Okay.
Please, can it happen?
you can still be the rich
I can
aunt.
still be the rich aunt. So when motherhood came, it found me at a point where, you know, when you're trying to, so the body requires you to navigate it and shock it at certain times so that you can reach your goal. And one of the key things that I realized helps you get there is when you engage your core.
Okay.
But engaging your core, like I said, the 2 hours of God means going into the depths of who you are, not necessarily just physically.
Physical.
So it's a time where you're like, okay, am I holding it in all together through God spiritually? And then when you engage your core, you squat better, you lift better, everything feels better. You're not as, you don't feel as much pain
And strain.
and strain on your body. So evolving it to when I started working with moms, when I had my first child and I had to recover from having my first child, I started picking up certain nuances in my journey around what we actually don't acknowledge and cater to. So I then soon learned medically, actually, your abs separate.
Yes.
And when they separate, you're left with this hole.
I learned that as well after pregnancy. I did not know that, yeah.
And I see a lot of women go hard at the gym and you're like, you know, lifting, doing all these things, but you never healed the core. So you'll have this bulging, you know, lower belly that just sits there. And I had to teach myself how to actually course correct and fix my core. Unfortunately, fell pregnant soon afterwards, but when I was healing my core, I was also healing what had broken when I had to release the singlehood into the motherhood phase. So then I saw, actually, there's a lot that I can impart knowledge-wise to the mom. And that's why I have a system where I'm like, there are many weeks that follow after you give birth. Don't neglect those weeks. If you are in the first 10 to 12 weeks, it's your time to immerse yourself into baby and acknowledge and be excited about, oh my gosh, this gift. Thank you for the gift. when you stand up from that, because also I'm thinking in the 12-week period, baby's a bit more grown at 3 months. They find a bit of a rhythm, right? So when they find that rhythm on their side, mom needs to now start acknowledging, okay,
I need to find my rhythm.
I need to find mine.
And it's a new rhythm.
It's a completely new one.
I think a lot of us struggle because we want to find the old rhythm.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of the old and this unknown of the new, and you find your integration on your way.
It's more an acknowledgement of where you are and respecting the hat that you're now wearing.
Okay.
We allow ourselves to live in conflict where you're trying to be the old you and the new you at the same time. But that's not, it doesn't even feel good. The reality is you are where you are. So now let's establish what the guardrails and the rules and the regulations around that
For this
for
person.
that person look like.
What did that look like as a mom of one and then as a mom of two?
As a mom of one, I was a superstar. Also, I had a boy, so I was like, yeah, I'm so cool. And I felt like I bounced back. And in retrospect, I hadn't bounced back.
Okay.
I
Bounce
was-
back in what sense?
In all senses. So physically, I got a new job soon after that.
Okay.
That's when I think the husband actually got an engagement ring and we were like, things were getting together. So I felt like I was on the up and up.
Okay.
But with my second child, I'm more grounded because I feel a bit more experienced
Okay.
and kinale a point of reference. But I don't think that you need to get as far as needing to have a second child to understand that being a mother creates certain things that you have to attend to and be attentive of, if I'm making any sense.
What are those things?
The first thing is, and it's said a lot, a happy mom is a happy baby. And that's why the routine is so critical. Because I walk into the house at 7 a.m. every day after the gym. And Zoe's face, it's like she waits there. She knows at 7 that mommy's
She's
coming
coming.
back. Yes, and she's smiling and I'm smiling.
Okay.
That versus I'm now, trying to get my life together at 6:30 and I'm angry at her because she just wants attention. You are robbing yourself of, a beautiful experience of motherhood and of self.
Okay.
So the key thing for me, one of the key things is establish a routine. And it doesn't have to look like anybody else's.
Just one that works for you
One
and
that
your
works
household.
for you and your household, but have one, have structure.
Right.
And to your point around, am I catering to myself? Within that structure, ensure that the self line item is
Is there.
accounted for. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You are a creator and a creative.
Yeah. I heard so.
You are?
Apparently
You've,
so.
I mean, you've just spoken through. You've created babies. You've created a marriage. You've created a podcast. You know, a whole fitness brand. But before I get into that, I actually had a question. What are moms struggling with?
Identity,
Okay.
I believe.
Okay.
You were Hopolang all along. Now you are Hopolang and your mom. But you want to be Hopolang because you want to tell the world that I'm still me. Because remember, in the 9-month period, it's the slight struggle, the slight honeymoon phase, and then it's like that little war before you go and you have your bundle of joy.
Yeah.
So you spend so much time changing, and you're changing in front of everyone. So now when you come back, you want to say to everyone, I'm still me. But you're not.
But you're not. I'm a different me.
I'm a different me.
I'm a different me.
And I guess that's why.
But do I have to lose the old version of me? Because my perspective is the older version of me is still there in snippets, But I think the grief that came after birthing baby and in this journey and the older she gets is there are parts of the older me that had to go, right? Even the good parts, like they just didn't fit this integration and this journey that we're going to. And I think this is where nobody can prepare you for that because we don't know which versions of you have to go, which versions get to stay.
But you can determine that.
Yeah, but I think as a new mom, back then, for me, I didn't know that I could determine that. I didn't even know that that was coming, right? I wasn't prepared. Nobody talked me through grief whilst wanting a baby, having planned a baby, so happy, oh, the bundle. Like that two things can be happening at the same time. And so it sometimes hits women or catches us off guard. And it's like, then you're hanging on for dear life for that old version. Because who's this new version? And I
can't relate to this one. Yeah, I reference identity because I guess there's merit in having both exist. But I almost, because I'm structure crazy to an extent, I'd like for us to explore the opportunity to line itemize what you really liked about the foundations of you that you can carry through. And then on the other side, open up space and room for you to evolve.
Yeah.
Because the unfortunate part is you're holding on so strongly to old me, but you're not affording you an opportunity to come around and just be like, hey, here's us. How do we then come together? And that's why I'm like, I had to not necessarily reference old me, but reference who I am. And it went back to the foundations of my name so that I can know my purpose is this.
Would you recommend 2 under 2? People are so fixated on age gaps. Would you recommend it?
Sure. 2 under 2, I would, if you are blessed enough to get community and to afford structure. Because we don't tell the truth about it.
That's what you put.
Yeah. Like,
it's too late for me now. She's 4, but for the next generation.
4 is not bad. 4 is not bad because I'm watching how they are growing up together.
Yes.
I thoroughly enjoy that, if I slap Zoe's hand, the brother's coming.
Yeah.
Not
that's
my baby.
Person. Yeah.
Yes. And I've seen how, because I had only ever said, I'm going to have one child and that's it. I would have robbed him
of that
friendship. Because what's beautiful is their friendship. Like and I sit on the couch all the time and I look at them, I'm like, you guys are actually amazing. They look nothing like me, but
you say that all the time.
It's always shocking to me. I mean, from their skin color to everything, I'm just always like,
Your genes didn't fight for you, girl.
They didn't. My dad tried to pull through a bit with Zoe's face.
Okay.
Yeah, but
that's it.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I fought. My genes fought.
No, your genes. You went control.
I went control
out.
Delete.
Yeah, so 2 under 2, to answer your question, I would in circumstances that afford that for you.
Right.
But I wouldn't have anticipated that I'd have those circumstances.
Okay. Because for me, I find, I fantasize, I idealize it, but I think it hasn't happened also because God knew. It wasn't my portion.
At the time.
I don't think I would, or at any time. I don't know that I could have done 2 under 2 just simply because.
But.
Yes.
Remember, you only know you as best as a reference of yourself that you have. And,
Fair.
And you don't have God's reference.
Fair.
And that's why I'm saying I'm in the learning phase. Like, I'm like, oh, I can do that. He's stretching.
I really respect you guys. I'm thankful
He's stretching.
that he trusted you and not me with that purpose.
But it might be, and let's not even close off other people to the reality that your 2 under 2 might be your one child, your passion project, your
you go.
building.
There you
There are so many other things.
So I had twins in that regard then, because I was doing my PhD.
You see?
Pregnant. Yeah. I started it and then I fell pregnant. Like a couple of months later.
Wow.
And then I gave birth. And then I had to like continue with this thing.
Sure.
Balikan, I call them both they're the same age. So when Haku turns 4, my PhD turns 4. Like,
But do you realize that you then bred something generationally? You gave birth to something beyond the physical child.
for sure.
Because I think women place their value on motherhood. So sometimes I wear the 700 hats that I do because I don't want to place value on one thing.
No, I come from a very multifaceted bloodline of matriarchs, and I just followed suit. I think it has its pros and cons, but I did it. And I think it just is who I am. I'm not even surprised that I did it. But through like programs like yours, through therapy, through reflection, I also have learned to not idealize that. It gets you sick, it gets you tired, it burns you out. You need to pace it. It has pros and cons. It has pros and cons.
There's a cost to everyone being themselves.
Yes.
And I always say, the cost of being me.
And I really do mean it when I say I think God entrusts us with the portion He knows we will be able. Mine was my doctorate and a human baby. Yours were 2 human babies and a fitness brand and all of. I think there's a reason we're all here. It's when we veer off in other people's lanes that you can see that you're not living in alignment. You're not in your portion, and I think that's why life becomes difficult. Stay in your lane. And I promise you things will be challenging, but not to a point that you cannot handle. I'll give you an example. So somebody was, we were brainstorming this podcast and this brand, and, I was talking to you like, okay, what's happening here? And they were talking to me about my bottom line. And I said, I have a niche or a target market. I'm not necessarily closing off anybody else that would like to be part of our family as the bloomers. But the moment I'm going to try be like the Working Mom podcast, or the moment I'm going to try be like any other podcast, I'm going to struggle. That was not the instruction God gave me.
Yep.
That's not where my purpose lies. That's not where my strength lies. That's not where my learning curve lies. And you're going to see it, right? So I think in anything you do, even motherhood, even getting married, like, where did that instruction come from? How you made it? Why? Because you went in the flesh and fetched something? Or are you living in obedience and instruction? Even if you're not Christian, even if you're not religious or spiritual, where do you get? We all get instruction from somewhere. Where does it come from? I think that grounding and that anchoring matters.
It's an interesting one because there've been many moments, especially in my work life, where I've had to answer questions I shouldn't have had to.
Okay.
And I'm speaking to staying in your lane, right? Where individuals will look at me and be like, you people have money.
Who are you people?
And my response, which in retrospect I've had to now clean up, has always been, I don't wake up when you wake up. Rather, you don't wake up at the time that I wake up. But that's coming from a place of when I'm not in position, I'll call it that.
Okay.
When I'm in position, what I should be saying is, as soon as you establish what you need to do to get to your money, and your money is it's not financial, it'll feel lighter. The person won't necessarily understand it at that point, but it's almost to help redirect them to go back into their lane. So a lot of struggle and strife comes in where you're stepping out, where you're moving out of alignment, out of obedience, and I think perspective is a big thing, and we don't edify and grow our perspective. We are happy to grasp anything and everything because we live in the social media world.
Do everything.
So yeah, that's somebody opened up a studio. I'm going to open up a studio.
And not everything has to be for achievement and grading. I was having this thought on the way here actually today. I was like, some things can just be for fun, hopelang. Not every musical instrument you play now you have to be a musician and you have to make money from it. Some of it is exactly what you're talking, the healing, going, like just engaging other parts of you.
It's interesting because when I engage with women about my cost model for Fit First Ladies, I get a lot of, sure, I didn't expect it to be this price.
As in, they agree with the price, they disagree with the price?
They think it's cheaper.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Because the accountability, the time I afford, the assets and the additional things that I have to share. And sometimes when you're not able to come, I'm like, no, I'm going to extend it, those kind of things. I then almost summarize it by saying, I want to see your progress. And to your point, not everything some things have to be for fun. Now for me, my story is a lot of things are for purpose because it edifies me. If I feel like, this thing is making me feel good, it's also saying to God, it's like the parable of the talents. This is how many I had, and here, God, see what I've done with them.
Do you know what I mean by that? I agree. I'm talking to the high achiever in me.
Because you are. Anyone with a PhD.
It's not only that. It's speaking to people who, how do I say this in humility? There are people who anything they go into, they do well. Because they'll push, not because they're excellent, because they'll push themselves to death to do well. That is the person I'm talking to. And it comes from a sense of pride, it comes from a sense of ego, it comes from a place of trauma. It's all sorts of unhealthy things that when you heal, you realize it's okay that this doesn't have to be, this mug doesn't have to turn into a business thing, but
it doesn't have to be sold.
It can. By virtue of the industry and merch, and maybe it will. Hey, let's not, But if every single thing I touch has to be the PhD, the mother, the wife, it's stressful. Some things just do them because, you know what, like you're saying, it's purpose, it's enjoyment, it's part of your relationship with God. If you're aligned that way, you find the instructions that God gives you enough. It doesn't have to equate to a bank balance. It doesn't have to amount to clapped hands.
Yeah.
Modie goes home with this cup, and it makes me feel good that she has something to remember about a moment where she reflected on herself, her life, and she can sit there and be like, what's that? I'm proud of myself. That reflection that I gave to Hopelang, the girl 10 years ago that I was, wouldn't have spoken that way. That's it. I don't have to sell you this cup.
It's tricky, but it's true. And I think for me, we spoke a little earlier and I said, I feel like I work in sprints. So the other day somebody said to me, like, rest. And I said, it's my working period. And then I drop the tools and I vanish and then I come back. I sprint and so forth and so forth. And you said, learn to pace yourself. And I'm very open to learning. And my business partner also said to me, consistency doesn't look exactly the same every day.
At all.
So even in your achievements, even in your aspirations, you need to understand that you won't show up the same all the time. So that's one of the things I'm having to learn. And yeah, it's uncomfortable, but we're here.
Where do you go when you disappear? What do you do? Because you're already doing the health, you're already doing the body, you're already doing, the reflective mental health stuff, and you're already creating. So when you're not sprinting, where are you?
In an ideal world, I would go on holiday.
Okay.
I haven't been on a holiday since as I was born.
And that is your whole thing. I'm working out because just now Rachidi says
Just in
Barbados.
case it's like, let's go. My team knows Bora Bora.
Bora Bora. Okay.
So, yeah. So, ideally holiday, but it's two things. So, go away to rest. And I think in a place that's close to nature, as best as possible to nature, where there's a lot of water.
Okay.
Because I'm reaching for flow. That's why. Then home.
Okay.
Nobody grounds me like my parents.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've also found a home in my husband's grandmother.
Okay.
Yeah, when we go home, like my father once said to me, I've never seen somebody's in-laws kiss her.
Oh.
My husband's grandmother kisses me when she sees me. So those are my
Your go-tos. So you're both a mommy's girl and a daddy's girl.
I'm a daddy's girl.
Oh, your daddy's girl. Okay.
Unfortunately.
Okay. Why unfortunately? No.
Because I'm made up of, my personality is very much my mother.
Okay.
And my strength is my mother.
Okay.
But my heart is my father.
Okay.
Because I think, one, I look exactly like him, even have his legs. Secondly, I think he's the ultimate love of my life.
Like a girl's first love is always
like
your dad.
he's my first love.
Whether he's there or not.
Whether he's,
If he wasn't there, you were brokenhearted at birth. But if he was there, then he was a present love of your life. So as a creator, what have been some of the challenges? Creator and entrepreneurship. And how do you navigate those?
Sure. Creator-wise, I never run out of ideas.
Yes, when
Interestingly enough, I only run out of ideas if I don't afford myself the quiet time.
Okay.
That's where the ideas come from. The challenge, though, is there are so many of them.
Okay.
So how do I channel
And
the
how
ideas?
do you execute?
And how do I execute? As an entrepreneur, the challenge has been staying consistent in my faith so I can understand that provision is not from my pocket. Yeah.
He's Jireh.
And he won't give you money. And
Provision isn't always money.
It's not. Not for me, it's never been. God affords me strategy. God affords me ears, rooms, eyes, opportunity,
Okay.
relationships.
Right. Right.
And I think I've never acknowledged that I'm an entrepreneur. But I am.
Well, today.
I am.
Today is
I
the day.
am. Yeah, I'm a female business owner.
I need you to see you how we see you.
That's what I'm reaching for.
That if I have a prayer for you above many prayers.
Yeah. And you've prayed for me.
And I've prayed for you.
You have prayed for me.
And I continue to pray for you. We met through prayer. Right? So I understand that side of you that's very grounded in that and how important that is. And I think that's why I've always approached you with prayer. Even in times where maybe you know I'd like something else. And I just, that annoying person that just throws prayer at you. But genuinely, I came to realize very quickly the first day I met you that that is an important element, even though I didn't know you. And so I've come to respect to approach you in a way that even if it's hard to hear in that moment,
Yeah.
I trust that God will navigate it because it's one of your anchors.
Yeah.
you are a phenomenal woman. I want you to know that. And I'm not just saying that. I really, I think I've shared this with you. I pray for the guests that come here. In the sense of, are they meant to come here? Not because there's anything special with my podcast or I am holy or whatever. No. It's, I want to make sure that I am doing with this what I'm supposed to be doing. There've been guests that I've wanted in season 1 and God only said season 3. You're one of them. You're one of them.
Wow.
There's another one that's coming now in season 3, and I thought would be in the first season, and God said not yet. Let her go through what she needs to go through, and she'll come, and she did. And so I say that to say that I think it's important to tell people things they need to hear. You're a businesswoman, you are a strategist. If you weren't this busy, you'd be managing this brand. I don't know if I could afford you, but he would provide.
Yeah.
You know, you're a phenomenal mom. You're a thoughtful mom. You're considerate. You are, from what I perceive, an excellent wife. You think about your husband. You take off that hat of businesswoman when you get into your house, and, you know, I can call him Rachidi as if I've met him because of how you speak so highly of your husband. And what you said earlier, Jorge, I'm also aware of my mother-in-law and how I need to represent her. You represent your families very well, both of them.
Thank you.
You know, hey, and you're put together, my dear. My dear, I am proud that you are my person, my trainer.
Wow.
You know, there in Dubai, when I'm always like, people are like, don't you want a PT? I'm like, no, go on. She got me. She got me. And I come on, Bona. With the Kelly Holland abs. I come on, Bona.
Guys, I always jokingly say, yeah, in case he needs to, you know, take me on an island trip, I must just be ready.
Yo, Gilo's like chicken looking today, but I'll be back. I promise. The smoothies and everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you were drinking beetroot juice
today.
The foundations remain.
Yes. Let me tell you, I think where you would smack me is the mixing of nonsense with things that you've taught me. and I said to my friend today, I said, it's me knowing that I'm going to go train Modie on Saturday and hoping that I'm going to lose this weight, this belly fat in 24 hours with this beetroot juice, and it's okay.
It'll get better with time.
It will get better.
You just need to acknowledge that the not so great foods do have
an impact,
but they do have a place.
Yeah.
And store them for a certain time, and then your consistency becomes the other element.
Happy ho about them in South Africa. I don't know how to eat
steamed veggies.
Like, you need warmth.
Stew.
And you said I can't eat stew gravy because we're eating for function. I said, girl.
So
not in this winter.
Well, that's the fitness episode.
I do well.
Yeah.
I do well when I'm not here because of the weather. I think it really, for me, it helps consistency because I can even crave these healthy things. More stampa.
Listen, I say just stampa here and there, right? But they are, and I always call them hacks. They are hacks that I use to make sure I manage what I crave.
Don't tell them. They must pay for it.
Okay. But yeah.
You've told us enough. You've already told us enough. They must now contact you. So if there's one message you'd want other women, especially young moms and creators, to take away from your journey, what would that be?
Wow.
I'd even slip in Zoe in there.
And Zoe.
Yeah.
You are of value.
Okay.
Yeah, we look for money outside of ourselves because I get we equate value, like money and value are like, you know, a thing. But as soon as I started engaging that conversation with myself and saying, you bring value, everything changed. How I approach my work, how I approach my marriage, how I approach my fitness life, how I approach my friendships. The other day I was on the phone with a friend of mine and she's like, yo, Nami, I want to be your friend, but I'm your friend. You know? But it's understanding. And I didn't want to make it spiritual. I wanted to make it practical. There is something in you that's meant to do more. You are of value. You bring something. Find that thing. But you can't find it outside. You need to go back and be like, do the inner work. The hardest, and I need young women, and I need Zoe, and I need all of the aspirational girlies to understand the hardest conversation to have is not with Hupalang. It's with yourself. Looking in the mirror and being like, actually, I did this and I did that and I contributed to this. I could have done that. Will help you. It's the foundations of, okay, how do I then establish this value that I bring? And you won't then worry about everything else that's happening in and around you. You know, a classic example so that it's more palatable. You asked me about my hair and you said, hair needs to be practical so that I don't have to then glue on and when the hair frenzy started, I envy the, frontale with the, but I realized it's not me. I live in the gym. So now I wear hair that's specific to me, that affords my life what it needs to be, saves me time and all those things. So curate everything of value around who you are meant to be. Like everything sitting, it's inside you. You just need to tap into it. Stop scrolling.
Stop scrolling.
Tap.
Stop comparing.
Stop comparing.
Stop. Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One last thing. Tradition here at home. I'm going to ask you to trust me. You've been with me for an hour. Trust me.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you to close your eyes.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you to activate your 5 senses. See the images that are floating in your mind, floating in front of your closed eyes. Listen to the sounds that you're hearing. Feel how your hands and fingers feel together. Notice the taste of the tea in your mouth and the things you can smell. And I want you to just think out loud with me for 30 seconds. Think blooming butterfly, Modie Rachidi. What is next for you?
Am I saying the words or am I thinking aloud?
You can say them. You can, if you feel comfortable sharing them with us.
I'm going to say blooming butterfly, Modie Rachidi, beyond borders. That's what I see. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your insights. Come back.
Come back.
She is coming
I'll
back.
be back.
Part 2.
Yeah, I'll be back. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Bye, guys.